Napa know-how.
A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost a sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
We are the New York Knicks.
For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's the New York Knicks Podcast, episode 364, part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network. Go to almightyballer.com for other great podcasts. You know, we were talking last episode about...
Or go to Baller, or just go to balls.com for a different experience. Go on.
Don't do that. No, we were talking last episode about how other shows have numbers and we don't. Chris, who runs the Almighty Baller Network...
What do you mean numbers?
Like facts, I guess.
What that
Truth?
You couldn't even explain facts. Like you're like they have numbers. Like that it didn't even make sense.
I just took the CPA. My brain is fried. Anyway,
oh my God.
Chris does a great job with that stuff.
Other shows have words.
He has the Almighty Ballin' podcast, so you should check that out. And they just added a 13th team specific podcast. So
yes. So if you want facts, if you want people to have you want substantiated arguments, go to those shows.
Yeah, substance.
Okay.
And now for the fluff.
Okay, cool. How you doing, Jay?
I am just doing super great. This team is just.
I feel like the Knicks play. I had a stomach virus all weekend. My throat hurts. The Knicks are just that's how I feel.
It's not been one of the best weeks for the Knicks and for Knicks fans. It's
blow the team up week. It's back to that. It's just the part of the year where you're like, F it, we should tank, blow it up. I don't know what we're doing. This is a disaster. Why can't we play defense? What's going on here? What's the point? That's where we are.
There's one player we should keep.
Yes, Porzingis. Everyone else, maybe we could trade him all for draft picks and see how it goes.
I don't know. There's one other player I'd like to keep.
Oh, I know. Carmelo. You want to make sure we have Carmelo's on the Knicks till he retires. I understand.
Yeah, so we got to re-extend him for another max.
There's what player are you going to say? Hernan Gomez?
Ron Baker.
It's Ron Baker week. It's Baker Sanity. It's Ron.
Ron Baker is now guaranteed a contract for the rest of the season.
Yes, because he's guaranteed to be awesome every time you see him play.
Because
the Knicks may be horrifyingly terrible to watch, but Ron Baker has emerged as not really our savior, but just some guy we could say put in the game so we have some reason to hope.
He was the savior for one game.
He played good in the other game too.
Oh yeah, he did. It's just they didn't play him till the fourth quarter against the Bucks, and they were down 13 going in, and they ended up winning. And then they tried it the very next night against the Pacers, not playing him till the fourth quarter. Only this time they were down by 23.
But they cut it.
They did. They cut it down to about 12, 13, which was exciting. But maybe they should just stop trying to have Ron Baker lead absurd comebacks.
Okay, Ron, we're down by 45. Go in there. You do what you do, Ron. Don't really contribute in the box score, but somehow we'll win the game anyway. This is in a weird... So By the way, I just want to add, you know Rose is not playing tonight against the Pelicans. So currently, the Knicks are losing to the Pelicans by about 11 points in the third quarter, and Rose did not play tonight for an undisclosed reason. Do you want to – let's just try to guess the reason he didn't play tonight. Jay, you want to go back and forth on this?
Sure.
He did not play tonight because he had to go over to a friend's place last night at 2 a.m. and the cops are investigating.
I don't know if I can top that one. I was going to say he had sore feelings.
He did not play last night because he's been benched permanently for Ron Baker. It's not the game now. It's not just fourth quarters. It's all games. It's the whole game.
That happened to Rondo.
Rondo's done.
He hasn't played in 5 straight games, and he's not injured.
Do you think the Knicks big next move will be getting Rondo?
Well, I mean, that still might be an upgrade considering the way Jennings has been playing.
Oh, actually, Jennings having a decent game tonight, but I just saw him turn the ball over a little while ago. Jennings is garbage. He is flat out a goddamn lighting on fire garbage. Whatever he is, and I know he played okay against the Pacers. He is garbage. I do not want him on the team next year. He once in a while he plays well, but the dude dribbles way too much. He makes some like dumbass passes. He disappears at times for weeks at a time. He is not careful with the ball. And what drives me crazy the most is when he rushes up the court and just shoots a three without there's 23 seconds left on the shot clock. He puts up a three. You're the goddamn point guard. Initiate the offense. And sometimes they go in. That's great, but he sucks.
Well, see, that wouldn't be even that bad, except for the fact that he can't shoot.
Actually, from three, he's okay. He's not terrible.
He's pretty bad.
He's actually okay from that. I think he's shooting 33%. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but it's not somebody you want trying to lead a comeback with a 33% shot.
No, he's not like a sharpshooter. He's not Kyle Korver, who now is on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Because why not? Why not just make them even better?
I understand Atlanta. He wasn't making Atlanta better, and they might as well get a draft pick for him, and it makes sense. I understand if you're not going somewhere, things aren't working out perfectly. Maybe you should get draft picks and try to rebuild a little bit. Knicks.
They took on more salary.
They what?
The Cavs. They took on more salary.
Yeah. Well, you said it was like $4 million for $5 million or $5 million for $4 million. It
was only an extra $400,000. It's just they were able to add more salary, which is comical to me at this point.
If the NBA likes you, you don't have a salary cap. It's just the Knicks. The Knicks have a salary cap.
Right. All the people who are capologists are groaning right now.
I know. No. There's bird rights and early bird termination. There's mid-level exception and there's Cavs exception.
We get all that stuff. We just think it's stupid.
Yeah, it's just stupid that you have one team, and I forget what the new cap numbers. But I remember last year the Knicks were stuck at $60 million and the Cavs were at $110 million. Made sense. That's a salary cap.
Yeah, it's totally a great way to do things.
The entire purpose of a cap is that everyone can spend exactly the same amount of money. And you have to make hard cuts, and then the NFL's version, at least whatever. Anyway, so since last show. Oh, by the way, I was listening to another Knicks show, and the guy was talking about how the Knicks have.
You're cheating on us.
I cheat on you. I'll cheat on you any day, Jay. You tempt me, I cheat. The Knicks have 20 draft picks in the next 10 years. So you got to trade some of them. So the Knicks fans shouldn't be so scared to trade them. You can't hold on to all these 20 picks.
Was that the Isaiah Thomas podcast?
It was the James Dolan show.
Okay.
It was the most insane logic I've ever. I'm like, do you understand? And the answer they said, the example they gave was the Golden State Warriors. The team built on lots of draft picks. They traded a first round pick to get Andre Iguodala. And they knew you could just hold on all the draft picks. Sometimes you have to trade picks. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. As soon as we draft Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, at the time Harrison Barnes, then we'll trade our first round pick. That
right,
makes sense.
Exactly.
That totally makes sense, mate.
Oh my god.
Anyway, there was some rumor out there the Knicks were trying to trade or thinking about trading a first round pick for Allen.
No, there's no way that's true. I refuse.
I don't think that's true. I think that was just start. I don't think that's true. And then
Allen's
the other
going
one
to be
was
35. They traded the first rounder for a 35-year-old, and then we'll record our final episode.
We say that. You know how often we threaten that we're going to record our final episode, and the Knicks just meet us there. And we're like, fine, we'll keep recording.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you step over this line, you're going to get it.
They're like, don't make us trade 2 first round picks for Tony Allen. Oh, then sign him to a max deal. Don't do it. And PJ Tucker is I think another rumor. Though I think PJ Tucker, he's a decent defensive player, but and the problem with integrating him into the team is he'd have to unlearn how to play defense. Holy crap! So what? Since last show, the Knicks have played the Pacers, beat the Bucks, lost to the Bucks. I think that was all last show, right?
And the Magic.
Oh, they lost to the Magic. The team can't play defense.
They were 16 and 13, and then they ended up losing 7 out of the next 8 games. I don't really want to go too much over each game. I mean, Porzingis was out for 3 of them. Every team has injuries that shouldn't mean you give up 120 points against the dregs of the East.
Do you think most people realize that if you back up for 5 seconds that they call a foul? I mean, they call it's a violation or foul, whatever.
Hey, you're talking about that Bucks game. You see the ref counting, and he gets the 4, and then he just stops, like in the WWE.
They were never ever going to end a game like that, calling that. And I'm sure Melo's done that also.
Yeah.
Are we really hanging our hats on a 5-second violation?
I mean, there's also don't get outscored by 15 points in the fourth quarter against the Bucks.
Yeah, that's a bigger. Also, if you watch the play, and no one seemed to mention this, is Derrick Rose is just hanging out doing nothing. He could have helped double team the guy. Right before he turns around for the shot, Derrick Rose is stuck in between. He's close enough to close in on when it was clear that the Greek Freak is going to shoot. He could have closed in on him and prevented the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least made it like a harder contest. Like, Rose does jack shit, and he gets the shot. And he makes the shot, and I'm like, you know what? He made the shot, whatever. You shouldn't have let them come back in the first place.
So, Greg Monroe is benched and can't get any minutes, yet he looks like an all-star against the Knicks.
Yeah, it's a funny trend in the NBA also. If you're a post-up player that can't really play defense, you almost don't have a job anymore in the NBA. Except against the Knicks, you're like an all-star. It's like the mid-'90s when you were playing against the Knicks. Well, except for the Knicks, not defense, but it's
that being
weird.
said, I'm so glad we didn't get Greg Monroe as our big free agent signing.
Yeah, because the only team he plays effectively, he'd be on.
Mm-hmm.
No, that would have been. I mean, the Bucks are regretting having him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you realize that the big trends lately in the NBA. What happened to did Carmelo?
He's still on the Knicks.
What do you say?
I said he's still on the Knicks.
No, I'm watching. I have the game on. I thought I saw him leaving the arena.
Oh.
I don't know if he's injured or got thrown out of a game. Knicks are down by 20, by the way, in the third quarter. 22, sorry, in the third quarter. Against the Pelicans. Have they just given up? Should they wear white flags for uniforms? Oh, it is. The thing is, here's the crazy thing. Here's the problem. When you're not at work, what do you do?
Oh, Carmelo was arguing with an official during the timeout. He was assessed 2 techs and ejected.
The third game of the year before the All-Star game, he's been kicked out of a game.
I think he's like, I'm not injured this season, but I don't like playing 75-plus games, so I'm just going to randomly get ejected from games now.
Okay, so here's when you're not at work, when you want to have some leisure time activity, you say may watch a TV show or watch a movie because they're entertainment. And sports is supposed to be entertainment. Unless you're playing it yourself, it's just supposed to be entertainment.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start the Golden State podcast because I can't stand this Knicks team anymore.
If the Knicks were a TV show, they'd be canceled.
What TV show would they be? They'd be like
The Simpsons. 25 years ago, they were great, and they've sucked for the last 15 years, but they're still on for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no. Here's what they would be. It would be the Real Housewives of Knicks. Like it would be something like so god awful that your significant other watches. You cannot believe it's on TV. It's painful to watch, but you can at least walk out of the room because it's not basketball. But this is basketball. So I would say like if you're a Knicks fan, just give up now. Pick another team. No one. You're like a Syrian refugee. No one will mind that you're coming to like. They understand where you're coming from. Except the Syrian refugees, people I guess don't understand.
Except the entire South doesn't want them there.
Yeah. So
bad analogy.
You got to pick a team in a liberal city so they understand. So pick a team. Well, you can't do the 76ers because that'd be pretty miserable too. What team? The Celtics. You want to be a Celtics fan? They're kind of a-holes in Boston. What team should we – and Golden State would be a front runners. You're not Kevin Durant. What team should you go for?
Spurs.
But Spurs play in the South. So is the South going to be very understanding?
Oh, but it's not that many good North teams.
Maybe the Rockets. The Rockets seem like – I know they're in the South also, but they're in Tony. We're familiar with D'Antoni.
The Clippers.
Then you have to watch Harden flop all the time. Clippers. Their owner is no longer racist.
Right. They're in a liberal city.
Yeah. I could do that.
They got the best point guard of this generation.
And we'll be and the good thing about rooting for Chris Paul is that we'll be used to having our star player never go anywhere in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Okay, so this team is so goddamn awful. So some games for us to play. I was just looking through the NBA.com. They have lots of like fun stats to look through if you're an angry Knicks fan. Oh, by the way, you heard the thing that Melo's shoulder has been hurting real bad right now.
Yes, he has a very bad shoulder injury. Sometimes it's not a bad shoulder injury, though. So I guess when he has a good game, his shoulders are right, but when he has a bad game, his shoulder's bad.
I have to think there's a clause in his contract when he signed this 5-year deal that said, it doesn't matter that my shoulder's injured right now. You guys aren't going to check this as part of the physical.
This has been going on and off for like 3 years now, right?
By the way, Kylo Quinn's now is leaving the floor. He's ejected.
What is happening?
Holy... oh my God! What kind of play is that? He made a fit, so he was... Anthony Davis was driving to the basket. O'Quinn's behind him, going for the block. He made a fit. He just like a hammer motion, like he's playing football to try to knock the ball out of Anthony Davis's hand. Just punched him in the arm, basically.
This team is a joke lately.
Holy crap! This team just burst into flames. Like the players just burst into flames. I mean, I don't want the players to actually get physically burned, but it would be like. It'd be apropos just the fact that like if they can be put out with a fire extinguisher right away, it'd be good. Anyway, I was playing around with the plus minus and the NBA defensive tracking stats. I noticed one thing interesting. So one reason that our Knicks defense is so bad. So last year we used to be pretty decent in the paint, right?
Yeah. Are you talking about defense or offense?
Well, we're defense. Offense, we were. Whatever. I'm talking about defense because defense, what really?
Yeah.
got
I mean, the guy who was the main reason for that is not on the team.
Well, Porzingis was pretty good in the paint, and he still is pretty good in the paint. If you look at his let me find his defense.
I mean, yeah, Porzingis is good in the paint. I mean, Lopez was very good though.
Okay, so they have here this. I don't know how much you can trust the this tracking thing. And so last year, one of the things was Melo actually had very good stats based on these defensive tracking things. It's the last time I don't think I checked at the end of the season, but I checked like at some point in the season, and Melo was looking pretty good here. By the way, like it's great. I'm like, Melo was really good last year, and I'm like, wait, I only checked that like middle of the year, so I don't really know how he ended up. But by the way, Knicks are down by 26 points in the third quarter. Ron Baker has his hands full for the fourth quarter.
Well, the Pelicans are like a super good team, so it makes sense.
They're a super. Do you know they have 12 NBA players on the team?
Oh wow!
Knicks can't play against that.
That's impressive.
So they have anyway. Melo last year. What the interesting thing they have there is they have opponent's field goal percentage, what it normally is, and what it is when you're defending them.
Wait, maybe that's their new strategy for Ron Baker. They're like, all right, 26 down, and there's only 3 guys left on the court because everyone else got ejected.
Anyway, so last year Melo was pretty decent. Actually, like the team's players shot a negative percentage when they were shooting with Melo guarding them. Part of the thing I was thinking about with that is that Melo has to be how the NBA this tracking thing works. You have to be near that player, and the tracking thing assumes you're guarding that guy. Most of the guys Melo guards run away, and Melo just never chases them. So and he's not. So that part of the reason he probably had a good stats there was because of that.
He's fixing the numbers.
He's rigging the numbers. Anyway, this year, goddamn awful. Everyone's shooting pretty well against Melo. So apparently he's not rigging the numbers very well this year. But one thing, so Joakim Noah, you wanted the stats that are really important are less than 10 feet and less than 15 feet from the basket. So less than 10 feet and less than 6 feet from the basket. Those are the more important ones for like a center, right?
Yeah.
And basically he's at a 0 for 6%, 6 feet. So basically whatever your normal shooting percentage is, you shoot that when you're going against Noah. He's pretty much a 0.
Oh, that's good that we're paying him a lot of money for that.
So the guy he replaced, Robin Lopez, not a superstar, but less than 60 from the basket, negative 10.5%.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's good.
Yes. So players shoot 10% less than they normally do when Lopez is guarding them by the basket. That's kind of why we had good defense, good interior defense last year. It was the only thing we had. The only thing we had good on defense was that Porzingis-Lopez combination below the basket. And we're like, normally you want to get better. Instead, the Knicks are like, hey, what's the one thing we did good on defense last year? Let's blow that up. Holy crap. Also, I'm going to go back to the defense in a second, but they also had they have a thing you can see Melo on how he shoots, like catch and shoot versus pull up less than 10 feet. And you can see how he shoots based on so take a guess. Catch and shoot, pull ups less than 10 feet. Oh, catch and shoot versus pull up. What's the like? Basically, I'm not even gonna have you guess. Basically Melo should always be catching and shooting and not dribbling the ball.
Isn't it like 10% higher?
It's 45% from catch and shoot. It should be even higher. 38% from pulling up, and from three-point land, catch and shoot 41% for catch and shoot, pull-ups 20%.
Yeah, so that's a little bit better.
Yes, and the other thing, 0 dribbles. He's shooting 0 dribbles, 51% from two-point land. 7 dribbles, 40%. It just I just want Melo to see this.
I know. It's almost like the ISO thing isn't a good idea.
It's the ISO thing is like all this touching it. This is the best also. If he touches the ball for less than 2 seconds, shooting 46% from the field. He touches the ball for 6 seconds, 41%. Some reason 2 to 6 seconds is 37%. But basically, just get the ball, make a goddamn decision, or pass the ball.
Well, I mean, he makes a decision when he gets the ball, and it's to shoot the ball.
It's the decision to take a break.
This was the week Melo called his own number, and Hornacek walked away disgusted, right?
This is also, hang on. In Melo's credit, this is the week that he had 17 assists in 2 games.
That is true. He had his first double-digit assist game since 2012.
Who's calling us?
I do not know.
Pick it up.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Is this Jay and Mark?
Yes, it is.
How's it going?
All right. How you doing?
Good, good. How's the show been? I haven't been listening. I just got the notification that we're live, so I just wanted to call in and just talk about Knicks for a sec.
Yeah, that's totally cool. This is Frank, right?
Yeah, this is Frank. Yeah, Frank for Cali.
Cool, cool.
Right
yeah,
on.
I'm trying to conference Mark in right now because Skype is being a little weird. But yeah. So
okay.
So you watching the game right now?
No, I'm not watching the game. I don't got League Pass, so I wasn't able to see it at the moment. But how's the game going right now?
Oh, they're down by 24.
Oh, fuck that shit. Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. So not great.
But how you been?
as good as I can be during this streak.
Yeah, I hear you. I want Bry to be back here, but I know the fans don't like him. But I like when he talks Knicks. And what was funny was that you guys played my voicemail, the Break of Saturday, where Bry wasn't there.
I know, the one episode he missed.
Yeah, he was like, no one ever talks about me. No one likes me. And I was just like, dude, you're awesome. But, like, every time I, like, send an email or call, he's not there.
Mark, are you with us?
I'm with us.
Okay. This is Frank. He's left a few voicemails before.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Hey, Mark. How's it going? How you liking down by 20 right now?
Oh, this team's goddamn awesome. At least, though, we're winning in players ejected. And I think that's part of making the playoffs is having a number of players ejected. So what's your take on the team this goddamn week, year, whatever?
Gilliam said the ideal tank lineup is in right now. Baker, Holiday, Lance, Endor, and Willie.
In defense, these are the only players on the team that haven't been ejected this game. So.
That is true.
Well, like, my take was the same exact take you guys had at the beginning when the trade first went down. Like, it was close to the end of last year. And I don't think that sentiment ever left. I kind of had the little inkling of hope that hopefully it works out, but, like, my brain was like, I don't know, like, so that has always been there. So I'm not too surprised. But what's interesting is the reason why I was going to call was to talk about, like, what I heard on Daily News Live. And it's very interesting how, cause like the Daily News and the newspaper writers in New York, like, they're usually always hard on the New York teams. And these guys were very, very hopeful and positive about the team. And it's just a New York thing to do. Just like, oh, we got stars now. This team's going to be great. We're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals and stuff like that. And that's pretty much the media in New York. I don't even think they really pay attention too much, They're just happy they have stuff to write about. But
they are actually kind of funny because they're like you have to do something. Okay, you have to get stars. Okay, we got stars. Okay, you're gonna win the title. The next day they're like, why'd you get those players? What are you guys, idiots? You told us to.
Exactly. That's exactly the media in a nutshell. And they on that show on SNY, they just seemed just disappointed. Like, yeah, we really thought they were gonna be good, but they're not. And usually they're like blasting the Knicks and saying a lot of bad things. So I was kind of surprised at how, like, the narrative kind of changed on the Knicks through the writer's perspective.
Because at some point you just feel bad for the puppy that you've now made only have 3 legs. They're like, they can't. I mean, they really can't play defense. This is getting. I mean, we thought it'd work out bad, but this is like really kind of sad. Like, have you seen these fans?
Yeah, I think they wanted it to be like a little bad so they could have something to write about. But now this is such a train wreck. They're like, yeah, we didn't want it to be this bad.
Well, the narrative throughout the offseason was the issue is going to really be these guys are going to be injured. And so we'll be sitting here middle of the season. They'll be like, well, Noah's out for the year. Derrick Rose is out for the year. Of course you suck. You're missing all your players. Everyone's kind of been playing. They just suck. It's much worse.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand why. Like, because you would at least expect this team to be good offensively. I remember I forgot who it was, but it was a great caller. The guest you had on last show, and he was talking about having Rose come off the bench, and as like preposterous as that may sound, that might be the smartest basketball move, because then at least you have some that punch coming off the bench, because you have enough offense in the starting lineup. It's good to have Jennings, who's afraid to take a shot, do whatever he's doing with other people that can shoot.
Well, I would say even, and I know this sounds insane, but start Baker because he can play a little bit of defense. He'll pass the ball. He's not going to look for his own offense. You got KP and Melo out there. There's enough guys looking for their offense, plus Courtney Lee, who we want to shoot more anyway. Put them out there and then, like, have Rose off the bench. I would even go crazy and put Cock in the starting lineup since it's not like Noah adds anything on offense anyway, and maybe put Noah coming off the bench with Rose.
Right. Yeah. And because Coach Horney is he's a really smart guy. So I believe they're gonna eventually try that out, and it might not work, and then we'll just go, oh, okay, cool, we tried, it didn't work, or they might eventually try it out, and then we sneak into the 7th seed or the 8th seed, and we're like, yay, cool, or whatever. But I do think that's gonna eventually get tried because they're not idiots running the team. I just think it's because of the Eagles, the Eagles on the team, they want to make Rose and that starting lineup work with all the stars and whatnot.
Do you think it'll be like you'll wake up one morning and suddenly you'll be in like a Disney movie, and suddenly you became like somehow some turn of luck. You're suddenly the coach of the New York Knicks, and you get all excited. You're like, I'm the coach of the New York. This is my dream has happened. And then it goes from Disney movie to like some horrible episode of Twilight Zone when every night you're like, I don't know why we can't play defense. Please stop asking questions. You've got 30 more questions about why we suck. Okay, I'll answer those questions. And it just goes on and on with you just answering terrible questions at the press conference. And like you're like, oh my God, this is my nightmare. I wanted to be the Knick coach, but nothing I do works.
Yeah, well, what would be even better is like you're doing things that you know is supposed to work, but for some reason it would work in practice, and then when you go in the game, for some reason or another, it doesn't work.
You're like, in practice, every time we practice this, Derrick Rose, you drove to the basket, you kicked it out to Porzingis, and he shot the ball, and then in the game, you drove to the basket and didn't pass 20 times in a row. Why not? By the way, Anthony Davis has 40 points tonight. Next down by 28 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but O'Quinn injured Davis, so he's out for the game now.
Yeah, no. I get. Well, Anthony Davis is out for the game now?
Yeah, because of O'Quinn.
If they're going to injure their star player, do it in the first quarter so we can benefit from it. Not when we're down by 20 points.
The Knicks can't even do that correctly.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's all right.
I was gonna say that Anthony Davis was auditioning for this summer's Knicks rumors, but it looks like he actually is auditioning for the team by getting injured.
Well, he signed that big 5-year deal, right? So he's actually auditioning to when he's auditioning for 10 years from now when he'll finally be over the hill enough to play for the Knicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. God damn it. When do we just start like talking about trading everyone off? Like, can you? I know. Here's the thing. You start saying we blow the team up, and there's always the Knick defenders. They're like, no, what are you talking about? We're still in the hunt for the 8th seed. You can't blow this thing up. When will the Knick defenders just go like agree with us?
Well, the issue I have is like, what's the goal, because we invested a lot in these players, and when I see the lineup, I'm just like, whoa, okay, so we better get the 6th seed. Like to me, the 6th seed is like, oh, okay, the 6th seed is like okay for this lineup we have. 7th seed will be kind of a failure to me, but I'll take it. But like they're going for like the 9th seed right now. I don't understand.
So people have said like on one hand we're like, hey, you want to get young and develop a team around Porzingis. On the other hand, they're like, well, we have Melo here. It's not fair to Melo. And the argument, like people have twisted the argument around. They said, well, what's better for Porzingis? Do you want him to be on a team of young guys and just lose, and you'll end up like the guys in Minnesota who've just been around a lot of losing, or he can really grow as a player on a playoff team? What has turned out is we don't have a young team. We just have Porzingis losing on a veteran team, which has to be the worst for growth at all. At least you could say like, hey, we're losing, we're all young. Instead, he's like, we're losing, and these guys have all been in the league for a long time, so they're establishing like it's even worse. We're going nowhere and we're losing.
I don't get it.
It's
like there's the identity, I think, is the main thing. Like the team needs to have an identity, and like if the identity is going to be offense and we're just going to score and not care about defense, then put a lineup out there that's an efficient scoring lineup, and then and do that. But sometimes the offense struggles, and you're just like, I don't get what's going on.
Well, earlier in the year, our offense was one of the better offensives in the league. It was, I think, at some point in the early in the year, we were like 9th or 10th in points, like efficiency, whatever. And we didn't look so bad. And that was around when we were 14-10, and then we fell off a cliff on offense, and that exposed the fact that we were never playing good defense.
Right. Exactly.
So,
they looked really good early on, like especially during the preseason and that first game when Rose came back, and those early games, we were looking really good. Like I was really happy to see just a competent point guard, a point guard that is fast, like or semi-fast, not as fast as he used to be, but still faster than any point guard I ever remember. That was amazing.
I mean, the thing with Derrick Rose is he does one thing, he drives to the basket, but he looks really good doing it. And when he's making those hard shots, you're like, thank God we have him. But then when he's missing them, you're like, oh, should he be initiating the offense? Shouldn't he be playing a lick of defense? Oh, wait, this is not our answer.
Right.
And he didn't play today for an undisclosed reason, which makes you feel really good about the guy who's injury prone.
Oh man.
No, go on, please.
Because I remember last show, I should have wrote these down, but last show there was so many good points that came up last show. It was a really good show. And I remember you guys were talking about Melo, and I forgot what it was. I don't know if you guys were talking about Melo's minutes or Melo's play style or Melo. Now I remember. It was Melo's defending, and I'm with you guys. I totally agree. But I think with players like the issue with players like Rose, Melo, name some other star or whatever. The issue with those players is that they feel, at least this is the way think of it. They feel as if they have to have this so much energy or to spend so much effort on offense that they don't have enough for the defensive side of the ball. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't mind the whole mixing up of the lineup thing, even though it's going to hurt people's pride or whatever. But it's just that you mix it up so like the people who think they're above playing defense for God knows what reason, they could do what they do and just score and chuck up shots. And then you have other guys that would play defense. Because like if you look at those Bulls teams with Rose and that coach, it was Rose and then a whole bunch of guys on the team who didn't mind doing the dirty work, and then Rose just goes off. And I think with players like that, those are the kind of teams you have to build around them, like the Iverson Sixers teams, where it's like Iverson could just go off and just score, and then you put people around him that will do everything else.
Right. Yeah, but the Knicks have decided to take all the guys that don't want to do the dirty work and put them on the same team.
Exactly. So the team has no identity. It's like I don't understand it. I honestly don't. And it kind of goes to. Did you guys see the highlight of Draymond yelling at Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Yeah. We need someone yelling at Melo.
Oh my God, yes we do. Oh my God, yes we do. Oh my God. Someone, and I'm trying to find where someone sent us this great write up. Actually, someone did like a write up of the Knicks defense, and it was I'm trying to find where they had all these highlights like, attached to this thing, and it must have been on Twitter, but it was just that the Knicks do everything possibly wrong on defense. It was they showed how you can defend a pick and roll, and basically the Knicks would just like go way under the pick and roll on these plays, or just like both guys go to the wrong guy, and like they on 3-point shooting, the defense as part of their game plan, the entire defense sags towards the middle and just leaves guys open on the three, and it's just brutal.
Ridiculous.
I mean, because I see Melo do it all the time, where he leaves his play. Like, if you're outside the 3-point line, like the 3-point arc is a force field in my mind, where the Knicks just like they feel like you're out there, we're not allowed to guard you, and they just you see guys that are like sagging where they want to help inside the paint, but then they want to kind of help the guy shooting, and they stand in the middle of nowhere and they guard no one all the time. Or one guy out there just leaves his man, and then everyone else has to make up for it, and some guy's open. And it just happens over. I don't know. Like, defense in the NBA is actually really hard. I mean, like the offenses are they're not like straightforward offenses. Like offenses, guys, they run complicated sets, and the Knicks can't guard jack shit. So like,
Yeah.
like it's like their opponents are playing chess, and the Knicks are playing
Checkers.
God. No, they're playing Candyland. That's what they're playing because they're this far. It's
like you know how a lot of the people in the media would say coaching doesn't matter in the NBA or in basketball or whatever. I really think that's bull, because you can see the difference a good coach makes. Because, like, especially with these players leaving college so goddamn early, you could see that. You could see the difference from the players that stayed in college, i.e. your Draymond Green, and the players that like were just so talented and they left and they came in the NBA early. Like, yeah, they're talented and they could do all this stuff, but there's a lot of fundamental stuff that they don't have that someone that's not as talented like Draymond has and had to like grow and develop. And you could see it. You could see when you're a smart player in the NBA, like you really stand out.
Yeah. What if you're a smart player on the Knicks? What would you look like there? Like if you stand out on like the Warriors, you must like if you're a smart player in the Knicks, you must look like people are like, can you like stop playing in the NBA? You need to cure cancer.
You pretty much would be Tyson Chandler, and then you'll get frustrated after a while and not care anymore.
So two things have been happening in the NBA. Two like trends. Jay and I were talking about this over email over last week. Like two trends are the 3-point shooting. It's more than a trend, but like the Mike D'Antoni style of offense is taking over the NBA, right? And obviously he's kind of proving it works again, and with the right pieces in Houston. And it seems like I don't know. James Harden adopted his philosophy, and now he's like MVP candidate. And maybe it would have been nice if Melo kind of maybe adopted D'Antoni's system when he was here.
Yeah.
And the other system on defense that's becoming pretty common is switching. A lot of teams do a lot more switching now playing defense. And whether you like that or not, it's becoming more of a common trend. And teams they want guys who can guard multiple positions. And the funny thing is our other coach, Woodson, was the big switch guy. It's almost like we had all these coaches that like just didn't have the right rosters but had the right ideas.
We were ahead of our time.
Yeah, the Knicks are ahead of our time. So what I think will happen now is about 5 to 10 years from now, ISO heavy, don't guard 3-point line is going to be super popular in the NBA. And we're looking back now at the Knicks were ahead of their time, not guarding 3-point shot or going heavy ISO.
And the Knicks, that's the answer, man.
The Knicks are always ahead of their time. That's why they're not winning right now, because their style of play will be perfect in like 5 to 10 years.
Dude, that's the answer. We just got to stand pat and keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the NBA will catch up to us. What do you do here? Do you so our guest last week said we should trade Derrick Rose before the trade deadline. Would you do that?
I would strongly consider it, especially if we continue losing. Not even because of the assets, but just because of like mercy. Like you traded for a guy who still believes he's a star, and then he's in a team and it's like a black hole. You know, I just feel bad for them. A part of me feel bad for them, and another part of me is like, we just need to get the assets that we need, and we just need to have an identity. If that identity is, if the stars that we have, the so-called stars we have, can fit within that now, then yeah, we'll keep doing what we're doing. But whatever game plan we have, whatever plan that Phil Jackson has, he's obviously forgot more about basketball than any of us even knows about basketball. Whatever it is, he needs to just stick with it, and hopefully he is, because it seems like he doesn't really listen to anybody. He just does what he does. But the Rose move and the Noah move, to me, feels like a contradiction for what he says he wants to do. And that's why we're all confused.
I have no idea what he wants to do anymore. And all I know is he spent the last 3 years talking about the triangle and offense, and what we suck at is defense. Maybe if he wasn't spending so much time like getting us to like focus on the offense, we could have figured out defense. Though again, whatever. We have 9 new guys in the team this year, so it doesn't even it's just frustrating with this team. So I would have a policy. If your names are not Porzingis or Hernan Gomez, you can throw Baker into that camp also. We can get a number 1 draft pick for you. You got to go.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
How much worse could we really be? Like, we trade everyone for draft picks, we get a bunch of young players, and what? We suck like we do now, but we have some hope. I know we make fun of this trust the process, but the Knicks process is pretty laughable also.
Right. Yeah, I just because I just right now my goal for the year, regardless if we make the playoffs or not, and I'm sure Jay would agree with this too, my goal is for Porzingis to get better and not get hurt. Like that's my main goal, because we have the unicorn, we have something that no one else has, everybody else wants now. I used to you can make an argument that he might even be better than he has a potential to be better than Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis is injury prone. So I just don't want him to get that big man bug of getting hurt and stuff. Because so far he does not seem like a prototypical big man. So far, knock on wood, he's been very durable and he's been able to do certain things that I haven't seen any other big man do. And I'm very proud and happy with Porzingis. I know people are talking about teaching him the post and whatever. I agree with you, Mark. I just want them to feed him where he's comfortable. Feed the beast. Let him do what he's good at doing, because we'll worry about teaching him that stuff later.
Yeah, I know this doesn't really matter because Anthony Davis was out of the game anyway. But the Knicks like all bench throwing the game lineup outscored the Pelicans by 11 points in the fourth quarter. And I know the Pelicans probably weren't trying their hardest either because the game was already over. But it is funny that when we go all bench, that's the only time we actually played decent tonight. Besides that, we got rocked every quarter. So, holy crap, this team is. Jay, you want to do some questions?
Yeah. So thanks for calling in, Frank. We're going to get to some emails and stuff. Feel free to call in again.
I know anyone, like I was telling you, Jay, I know everybody is not cool with Bri, but I like Bri, and I like hearing someone outside of basketball give opinions. So if you guys could have Bri come back on at least one more time and give it a try again, and maybe not the whole show, depending on ratings and what the majority of the fans like, but I enjoy listening to Bri on the show too, so just wanted to say that.
Yeah, we well, do you think is Bri going to come back on the show, Jay?
Why not?
For doing it. Yeah, why not? The team is the season's about to be lost anyway. So so how, before you leave, how do you turn this around?
Oh, dude. Oh man, really. In all honesty, I think patience is the key right now. You don't want to make a move that other people want you to make. You want to be patient. You just want to see things through and make sure the locker room is happy. Whatever Coach Horny does or Phil does, just keep the locker room happy right now. And even if you got trade guys or whatnot.
When you say keep the locker room happy, do you mean Coach Horny should make his daughter dance for the locker room?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Whatever works, dude. Whatever works.
Ever since he brought his daughter to the locker room, wow, we've been on fire. You're losing games by just as many points. Oh yeah. So when we met, the locker room's great.
Whatever, because the last thing you want is a disaster like in years past. Like stuff outside of basketball happening, and granted that stuff can happen anyway. But like, even though they brought all these guys for a right now team or whatever, the cornerstone of the Knicks is Porzingis in the future. So no matter what they decide to do, they need to just make sure they do things the right way and decide to like really find out who the Knicks are, who the Knicks are going to be, what are we going to be? Because like in the 90s, we were the bad boy Knicks in the 90s. In the 70s, they were the passing, the team oriented team, whatever, and all that stuff. Right now, there's no identity. Right now you can say the identity is more negative than anything positive.
How long have you been a Knicks fan, you say?
Dude, like I'm 30, so I suffered with the Knicks during the '94.
So you want to say like 25 years? We'll just pick a number.
Yeah.
So
right.
So in all those years, you really think the Knicks now are going to do the right thing? You're like, they need to do the right thing. I don't think the Knicks really can figure out what the right thing. They need to go George Costanza, Seinfeld, where they do the exact opposite of whatever they think they should do. Just take whatever they think they should do the exact opposite, and things will work out suddenly amazingly.
I don't know, man. I'm in the Bay Area right now. I moved to the Bay Area for school when the Warriors were like not so good. Then Mark Jackson came, whatever, and he started doing stuff. But I am so jealous of them because they were in a position where nobody wanted to go there, the only way they used to get talent there is by trading for them or attempting to trade for them. Then they started making some good draft moves. They got Jerry West there, and they started making good draft moves, made some good patient coaching moves, like with Mark Jackson. And when the team was finally good, they gave him the boot and then got a coach to put them over the top. And I'm so jealous of that. I hate it. I'm just like, why? Like, why can't that be us? And a lot of it is probably the impatience. A lot, and the media doesn't make it easier, and the fan base. The fan base is crying out for patience. Actually, now you can hear it in the crowd. Like, we want the ball to go to Porzingis. We want to see ball movement. We want to see a system. It's just that I don't know where it's getting lost in translation, because if the fans could see it, I don't understand why the players can't see it.
Would Lost in Translation be the good title for like a documentary about the season?
That sounds like that. Amazing title.
Yeah. No, I am jealous of the Warriors. I mean, how could you not? They built the team through the draft, added now like they're a destination for free agents. Got like the number one free agent in the market. They look damn good.
It's like the best of both worlds. Like,
they did everything right, basically.
Yeah, they built the perfect team and they got a free agent. Us, we're like, we'll get the free agent, then we'll build the perfect team later. Like,
the thing is that the Knicks are trying to build through free agency. I mean, they have Porzingis now; they're developing someone, but they're kind of trying to really make it work through free agency. If you're gonna do that, the guy you're bringing in has to be LeBron James or that level. It's not even like unfair. It's unfair to Melo to say we can build through free agency because we've got Melo. Because Melo is just not. It's not. No knock against Melo. LeBron is a whole nother level of a player. It's not. Right. It's just unfair to say to him, hey, we have Melo. We can build through free agency. You can't do that unless you have a guy LeBron like. And like you could say, every team in the NBA. Or most teams in the NBA that are good are built through acquiring players either through the draft or getting guys before they really took off. Even the Rockets, James Harden was good, and he was a high draft pick. He was good in Oklahoma, but when they got him, that's when he really took off in Houston. You have to get a guy before he explodes. You can't just go, hey, I'll get all these guys who they're already established or over the hill, as half the guys the Knicks require, and think it's going to work out.
Yeah,
you got to build it
right up.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, okay, guys, I'll call off, and then you guys can answer questions. Thanks for taking my call, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for calling in, man.
All right, peace. Go Knicks.
All right.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks.
All right. So that was dedicated listener Frank. 631-676-1181 is the number if you want to call in, or the Brink of Sanity on Skype.
We post on Facebook when our show is gonna be recorded. You can call anytime you want to call. You can call.
We announce the live shows. It's you can also watch the live shows on Ustream.
Usually, if we're recording, we'll start recording 8:30 p.m. or around then Eastern Standard Time. So if you're calling from anywhere, just keep that in mind. You can probably catch us on that night.
Right. Ustream.tv/channel/Knicks-podcast.
And what's the Skype? Can people call in through Skype?
Skype is the Brink of Sanity, so you could call in on Skype too.
And not pay a dime. You could just call through Skype and not have to pay like any kind of long distance or do people even pay long distance anymore? But if you want to call from Australia, you can call through Skype. There you go. Let's go to questions, Jay.
All right. So first email is from Lorenzo. Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, I have a new game. It's called Spot the Knicks Tattoos and Interpret Them. First up, Derrick Rose and the Grim Reaper on his arm. Meaning if we re-sign Rose for $30 million plus per season, death will come and take away all the Knicks fans. Cheers."
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we I don't know if it's funnier if we make up tattoos or we actually look up the real ones. But
I think we should move on to the next email.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if we look up the real ones, it's gonna take some work.
We're just gonna move on to the next email. Go on. That was a funny joke, but Lorenzo. Go on.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Marcus writes, "Hey, Marc and Jay, I'm Marcus from Germany, and I stay up until 1:30 or 2 a.m. to watch Knicks games. Can you imagine how much it hurts to see such a pathetic effort on defense? As we say in Germany, I'm hitting the night around my ears." Huh, I never heard that before.
How do we say what?
I'm hitting the night around my ears means I'm not sleeping. To watch these efforts who get millions of dollars being not able to stop maybe the baddest three-point shooting team from hitting like 60% from downtown. I watched almost every game of that tanking season, but it was never that bad. Even Bargnani put in more effort on defense than Knicks last night versus the Magic. My questions. 1, is Melo a goldfish? He has to have a memory about 4 seconds. He can't remember missing the last 10 shots, which can be nice, but he can't effing remember that he stood near somebody at the beginning of the defensive play. The other team doesn't need to put any play sets. They just need Melo defending off ball. He just sacks off, and he effing doesn't care if they score. I wanted the Knicks to re-sign Melo, but it's gotten so bad I want Kuz to start or goddamn Endor. I think they could throw up some bricks, too, if Melo thinks that's his specialty. 2, didn't Hornacek say Courtney Lee needs to take more shots? With Porzingis out, I thought he'd get about every shot from the rim from him. 3, things didn't look that bad last summer, but then they gave somebody Phil found on the street $72 million for 4 years. Is Phil the baddest GM in the league? And 4, do Knicks fans like to get punched? It hurts liking this team. Ending on a positive note, I really like your podcast. You're funny and make life as a Knicks fan a little easier. Have a nice day, and let the hate love for this team run through you. Thank you, Marcus.
I would say I don't know. Is Phil the worst GM in the NBA? He's not the best.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say he's the worst. Another ex-Knick GM is doing a number in Washington right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard being a GM. I think we probably overvalued what being a great coach would mean to being a good GM. They're two vastly different positions, and we kind of overvalued that probably.
Yeah.
I know Pat Riley did a pretty good job in Miami, but yeah.
Let's see. Matt writes, "Hi, this is Matt from Perth, Western Australia. The Knicks versus the Bucks. It seems like every few days lately I've sat and watched the Knicks trying to claw back 10 to 15 point deficits late in games. They never do it, and it always seems like a pipe dream because we know as fans that making up such a deficit is statistically really unlikely, yet it happens to the Knicks. How can you not close out when you're 14 in front in the last quarter? Seriously concerning. Struggling for positives over the past few weeks. If Brandon Jennings hoists any more brick threes in an attempt to rescue the team from these late game deficits, I may just shrivel up with contempt." Thank you.
By the way, Chasen Randall is signing with the Sixers.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So we dropped the ball again.
I mean, I don't know Randall's going to be anything that special. He hasn't really, I know he had a couple of good games in Westchester, but he's not someone to really cry about. It's just weird that Phil has no interest, I don't know, in developing. Like last year.
I mean, he can't be any worse than Endor.
Yeah, last year we had a literal empty roster spot the whole year, and Phil went to any 10-day contracts. And so far this year, he doesn't seem that interested. I guess all the roster spots are taken, but I don't know. I'm not convinced Endor's I'm not convinced Endor's an NBA player. Plumlee, you could cut Plumlee. Do we really need a Plumlee?
Right.
Try to get some guards. We need guards.
Sasha, we have Sasha on the team.
Cut Sasha. He's completely a waste of time, especially now that we're not even playing the triangle. What's the point?
Yeah.
All Sasha, maybe getting rid of Sasha suddenly will win. We've been terrible with him. Maybe suddenly we'll be really good when Sasha leaves.
Worth a try.
Maybe. It's worth a try. Turn this shit around.
Phil writes, around this time each year, the Knicks skid begins and they miss the playoffs or just bomb out completely. Is this going to happen again, or will they snap out of it and make the playoffs?
Oh, Michael Pang sent us this pick and roll theory, had a whole write-up. This is where I was looking for on the Knicks defense. It was amazing, and holy crap, the Knicks are awful. But look up at pick and roll theory on Twitter. They have a pretty good write-up. We liked it on Facebook, on Twitter also. Maybe that. I don't know how Twitter works. I don't know if we like something if anyone else can find it. Go on.
Lorenzo writes, did you hear that? Are the Knicks going to sputter out, or are they going to make the playoffs?
Do you want me to lie or be honest?
Be honest.
They're not going to make the playoffs. I have a feeling we're hitting sputter. Well, I would have said maybe we will make the playoffs if we didn't just get trounced by the goddamn Pelicans. We didn't even show up to the game.
Yeah.
What?
Lorenzo writes, did you hear the interview with superfan Jimmy Goldstein on the Woj podcast? It's pretty good, and he's Jewish, Mark. Bonus points there. He says he's been to over 4,000 games. What does he do for a job? And he usually in the front row. Say on average $5,000 a ticket. That's over $20 million on tickets. Yep, that made me feel crappy about my life also.
Wow.
That's insane.
I thought he was going to be last row to the games. He was.
Oh, he said it's actually the Ringer podcast. But that's that's not fair. I go to one game a year because I'm broke. Michael writes,
do you think they're going to sputter out, or you think they're going to put it together and get the 8th seed?
7th seed.
7th.
I don't know. That's what I picked at the beginning of the season. I don't like changing my picks. Although my gut tells me now that this is not going to end well.
Phil got here. The Knicks won 37 games. And now 3 years later, maybe if things work out towards the end of the year, we'll get to 37 games.
Michael writes, man, you guys are the best. Never stop podcasting because we love what you do. Thank you, Michael. First question. The Cavs got Korver while being $20 million over the cap. Why don't the Knicks GMs ever find loopholes trades to make our team better like this? The rules are the same for everyone. And in 3 years, the Cavs have gotten J.R., Shump, Fry, and Korver for 2 first-rounders and the TPE. Was that trade player exception? Why are the Knicks not this smart? Second question, why are the Knicks fans complaining Melo is near the top of All-Star votes? He hasn't been close to being one this year, and should he care about the making playoffs? Hasn't he done enough All-Star campaigning in the past, plus the Olympic stuff? I don't see LeBron or KD campaigning for All-Star votes.
Isn't he not on the All-Star team as of now?
No, he's not.
He didn't get the vote. They didn't fill out the roster yet. They just give the...
Right. He's not... I mean, the voting's still going on. He's just not in the top couple spots right now.
Yeah.
He's campaigning because it's good for his brand, and that's all he cares about.
I mean, he should be he should tell fans not to vote for him this year. The Knicks have been terrible, and I don't care about the All-Star game. What's important is what's going on in the court, and I'm not living up to expectations, so don't vote for me.
Jonathan writes, hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm a huge fan from Puerto Rico. My question is, do you guys think realistically that we can get better at the defensive end? The players that we have are not that good at that end. Rose and Melo are awful. Porzingis The only good thing that he does is block shots because he just can't guard the 3-point line. Every game the player he guards kills us. Noah is improving and Lee is good but not great.
My theory on the Knicks defense getting better. Have you ever heard of the dead cat bounce theory?
No.
It's, I think, a theory in investing. And anyone that knows anything about investing, I'll probably get this wrong. But the idea is like when the stock is plummeting, like a dead cat, if you drop it high enough, it bounces a little bit after it hits the ground. So the stock will go back up something. And in the same way, the Knicks defense is so bad, no matter what the Knicks will accidentally get better. But that's just like a little bit better. They have to get just random luck would mean they'd get better in defense because they're just so bad. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's also chemistry. I mean, we've said it before. It's a new team. They'll learn to play with each other more. The defense will get better. It's not going to be good. They just don't have enough good players on defense, but it will get better.
It seems like it's not even good players. It's that they're not communicating. So communication, like what you're saying with the chemistry, it has to get better with more communication.
Yeah.
They have to. It seems like defense takes a lot of practice. You have to know what your teammates are doing so you can react accordingly and trust your teammates. And the Knicks aren't doing that right now. But they're also kind of in a system where they're sagging off too many players. Do you think they'll just stop doing that eventually? Is that by design? Why are they doing that?
Yeah, that's hard to tell. I mean, I can't imagine that's design.
It seems like Melo will guard a guy and be playing like man to man, and then the guy runs away and Melo decides he's playing zone. Or the guy will just be staying on the 3-point line and Melo will just switch to zone while he's guarding him, just walk away. And other guys do this also. And Derrick Rose, guys go blow past him like it's like a goddamn turnstile.
Oh, didn't you have your thing you wanted to bring up?
Oh, I closed that all because we had the caller because it took a while.
Okay.
You want me to go? Basically, actually, Derrick Rose, when he's actually near his man, he's not that terrible on defense.
Really?
But it's because he gets picked off the guy all the time, or once the guy gets past him, they don't think the stat counts anymore. Because it's only the guys. It's when you shoot, you have to be near the player for the sports tracking thing to think that you're near the player. So
I see.
So if he gets blown past by a guy, they're not going to say that it was Melo's guy and that guy scored. It's only if not Melo. If Rose is near the guy, are they going to count the fact that Rose guarded him?
Right.
I don't know how this is sports tracking, but it's also you're supposed to be. It figures out what player you're supposed to have been guarding when he shoots and how he shoots normally versus how he shoots when you're guarding him. And so the idea is that if you're a good defender, guys shoot below their average. And if you're a bad defender, like most of the Knicks, the guys shoot way above their average. Actually, the worst on the Knicks is Kuz. Apparently, when he's guarding you, you shoot 11% better. But most of it was from 3-point land. Guys, when Kuz is guarding them, they shoot three. They're all like Steph Curry from 3. I don't understand exactly how that works out because you look at his stats, he's not that bad except for when you go really far from the basket.
Right.
Plus 15 and to the 3-point line, that's where he's really bad.
Interesting.
I was going to go through all that, and I was going to play that game with the plus minus and defense. Whatever, the defense sucks. We all know the defense sucks. There's no we can play a lot of games, and at the end of the games, the defense still sucks. We have a bunch of questions to go through also, so I didn't want to extend the show for an hour and a half.
All right. Last email. Michael writes, isn't it interesting how Harden is buying into D'Antoni's system and making him an MVP candidate? Why couldn't Melo or JR?
In fairness, in those 2 games against the Bucks, Melo had 17 assists. He's done proving he can get assists. Now leave him alone. He got 1 assist tonight.
Of course.
Apparently, that the trend's got. He did it 2 games in a row. He got a bunch of assists. Why couldn't he just keep going assists?
I mean, he probably figured they lost those games.
The Bucks were doubling him, and the strategy with if you don't double Melo, you know that he won't pass the ball, and he'll just take a dumb shot anyway. Yeah. Why? So why does it work so well with Harden? Why did it work so poorly with Melo?
That's a Well, Harden has more shooters around him.
Yeah, but for it to work, you have to pass the ball. Like Melo doesn't even pass the ball that much.
Yeah, but if you have really good 3-point shooters on your team, it spreads out the opposing team's defense.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
I mean, you're obviously going to give Ryan Anderson a lot less room than you're going to give Derrick Rose.
Yeah, no, but in fairness, when D'Antoni was here, he tried to make it a 3-point shooting team with Melo.
Yeah,
so
he said be a 3-point shooting team, but he still didn't have 3-point shooters.
No, he had Amari on the roster.
You can't just say hocus pocus, you're a 3-point shooting team. They didn't have 3-point roster.
I feel like there was a fight with Dwight Howard over that reason.
Right. He's like, well, I don't get it, Dwight. Just go out to the 3-point line and shoot 40%.
Howard's like, my entire game is getting the ball to me down low, and I score. What are you missing?
Yeah,
Shoot
Dwight's
threes.
like, I can't even shoot a free throw, and you want me to shoot a 3-pointer?
I mean, D'Antoni's a guy that I get, if you get him the right roster, he's a solid coach. But if he doesn't have the right roster, he doesn't. We have lots of coaches who just don't adapt if you don't have the right roster.
Right.
Yeah. But Harden is really fun to watch now. Except for, actually, he's maddening to watch because it's his damn flops.
The flops really drive me up the wall. It's like, you're such a good player. Do you have to resort to that crap?
Of course you have to resort to this crap.
But, again, the NBA is promoting it and, calling it, letting him get away with it.
Yeah. What do you hate more? If you had to think, what thing do you hate the most in the NBA? Do you hate flops the most? Guys getting charges for standing in front of a guy a half a second before the guy got there? Or do you hate when a guy shoots the ball and throws himself into the defender and gets a foul?
I would say the charge call I hate the most.
By the way, Lance Thomas, I don't know if he caught it last game. He tried to throw himself into the defender to get the foul call when he was shooting, and it was the first time I've ever seen in the NBA where they called an offensive foul on it. Lance Thomas is so bad at everyone else could pull it off in the NBA. Lance Thomas can pull it off.
Oh, Knicks. All right, that's it for emails.
You want to do Twitter? I didn't post for a question on Twitter, but a bunch of people just asked us questions anyway, or a couple of people. Do you want to find them, or do you want me to find them?
I don't have those up. We also got a message on Facebook.
Okay. I'll read the Twitter ones, and you can go to the message on Facebook. Then I'll do the Facebook questions, and then the show will go on for another hour. Hey, question for your show. Jennings is averaging 8 points a game, 5 assists on less than 40% shooting. Bring him back next year?
No.
God, no.
Remember one of his first games, he played good. We're like, oh, this could work out.
Yeah, I mean, he had those 11 assists off the bench. You're like, oh, yeah. And then he didn't do anything for 10 straight games. Then you're like, then he gets 11 assists again. You're like, oh, I didn't know you're still on the roster. And he's not good at defense. He just turns the ball over. I have to say, you can just get a replacement level, another point guard, and he can't be that much worse. Jennings, I don't know what kind of contract he wants next year. I can't imagine he's going to get much of a contract from anyone, but it just seems like a bad idea to bring Jennings back. This is from Max Mello in 2018 is the name of the Twitter account. So he also writes, also, if we renounce Rose this summer, only want him back if it's less than $20 million at 3 years max, who can we get to replace him? Also, please don't go on a rant about the Cavs getting Korver, please. Their GM is smart. Ours isn't. Get over it. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to give up a first rounder, but you also got to remember the Cavs first rounder is the number 29 pick, and our first rounder is going to be 12.
I mean, I'm fine trading draft picks if you're where the Cavs are. If you're in striking distance, you trade draft picks to get the title. It makes sense. You sacrifice the future when the present is you're going to get a shot at getting a title. If you're so far, what you put on Twitter the other day, I liked the trading deadlines fast approaching. We're only 5 or 6 players away from winning a title. Phil, go and get them. That was great. We're just so far away. It's we're the Sahara Desert away from getting a title. it makes sense if you're like Cleveland. Like you had to give up 2 draft picks to get like Kyle Korver. If you're gonna win another title, it's worth it.
Right.
And Korver, like, what would we trade a draft pick for Korver? It would be like mentally retarded.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense.
It would get us a little bit better, but is that what you need? Do you think Rose is going to come back 3 years, less than $20 million?
No, I think he's going to get an embarrassing contract.
Do you think so? I mean, like, is the league going to catch up to the fact that like Rose doesn't do that much?
Nope.
I know we talked about before the year that he wasn't that much different than Jeremy Lin these days. And Jeremy Lin got like $12 million, but we thought was a decent contract. But do you think he's that different than Jeremy Lin? Jeremy Lin drives to the basket. Derrick Rose drives to the basket. They don't do that much else. And it's a good skill. But
have you seen the NBA?
Yeah.
You could live off your reputation for years.
Jrue Holiday, his defensive numbers are really good according to advanced stats, and he looks like he can pass the ball. The Pelicans look a ton better since he came back. What kind of money do you give Jrue Holiday?
I'm a little conservative with Jrue just because he's another guy who's never healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of him always injured scares the crap out of me.
What if you draft a point guard in the draft and don't bring in anyone with any big names? Are you allowed to do this? Like we started doing that, and I don't know how good Jaren Grant is going to really be, and he's not like he's dominating the Bulls. But we got him, and we were like, we're going to develop him. Just kidding. Maybe this time we get a point guard and just try to develop him.
You know who I just picked up in my fantasy league?
Tim Frazier?
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh, he's playing that well?
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I actually looked up Tim Hardaway's plus minus in defense. It didn't look that bad, actually. Like, he's not good, but like he was better than he was playing too well on defense to be a Knick.
It's almost like he developed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. Justin Hawley, by the way, his defensive numbers were shitty.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He's our good defender, so Hawley looks decent out there. I have nothing against him. I like seeing him play. Just his defensive numbers did not look very good when you looked at advanced stats.
Yeah.
Let me see. There's a couple other. I thought there was another question, but maybe I'm wrong. You ask us the question from Facebook. Here. This was it was Tim Hardaway Jr. back to New York. And from Diggy Geek TV, and he said that was a question for a question is what you think. LOL.
Well, if he keeps playing like this, we'll probably trade a first-round draft pick for him.
Oh my god.
Roy writes, "You guys keep talking about the team's defensive problems." Jay, you asked, "Would you be surprised if the Knicks were doing the NyQuil challenge, doing shots of NyQuil before games?" It's obvious they suck. They're allowing 108 points per game and 26th worst in the league. There's not a huge difference between the best and the worst teams, making the Knicks not so terrible comparatively. Every Knicks player but Kristaps and Lee Blow, especially Noah, the Memphis Grizzlies have the best defense, allowing 101. What's crazy is no team is allowing less than 100 for the first time ever. So it's not just the Knicks, the entire league sucks. Maybe it seems to be a new trend. Maybe it's because everyone just bombs threes all night. Either way, Knicks still play like chode Falcons on D. Your thoughts? P.S. I know Kristaps through a friend, and he said he has an agreement with Noah to swap haircuts. Porzingis with long ponytail, Noah with short Caesar. That's the inside info. Don't tell anyone except people on this show.
That would be great if they actually swapped haircuts.
That would be pretty funny. I don't agree with that, though.
What?
With the fact that every team is... not every team is letting up 100 points a game.
I think he's saying they actually are.
Yeah,
but like literally the stats say every team is letting up 100 points, 102 points per 100 possessions or whatever.
Well, the Spurs are letting up 97 and the Jazz are letting up 95.
I think he's looking at per like offensive efficiency per 100 possessions. He's right.
Gotcha. Although I do have to say there's only 3 if you're just doing regular points allowed per game. There's only 3 that are under. And they're all in the West.
Yeah, the per 100 possessions, he looked like it's 101 is like 101 point whatever is the best team in the NBA, which is, I guess, was it the who's the best in the NBA? Is Golden State or?
Well, I mean, I don't know what your what stat
What
using. I mean,
defense is? What's the best defense in the NBA right now?
Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, Golden State is letting up 100 and almost 106, but they're outscoring opponents by 12 points a game. So like their pace is different. The Jazz, they're letting up 95 a game.
Well, whatever. Anyhow, his point was per 100 possessions. We look at that. It was like 101 was the lowest, and 108 where the Knicks are like one of the worst. And so it's not all the teams are looking worse than they used to look on defense.
Yeah, but I mean, you say there's only an 8-point difference between first and last, but if you lose by 8 points a game, like that's terrible.
I don't know where we're going with this argument. I think his whole point was that the teams are scoring more points than they used to score.
And of course, we bashed Jennings, so he got 20 points tonight.
Obviously. Well, he started Okay, let's go on the Facebook questions because this show's going long. Frank writes, so Kyle Korver was traded to the Cavs, and there's speculation that this could cause the NBA arms race. How does this affect the Knicks? Do you think this trade increases the likelihood of a trade and price tag for Rose and Melo? Could a team actually become desperate enough to inquire about acquiring Noah? Well, as far as Noah, is there going to be an arms race with the 76ers and some other terrible team? Because if there's an arm race to get the most ping pong balls, then maybe Noah gets traded.
Yeah, I can't see for an arms race, it's you're not going to acquire an $18 million a year player. If you're that close to a championship, your roster is, you're pretty close to the cap.
The thing is, don't you have to take back that money?
Yeah, that's the thing. The Cavs reloaded, but they got a $5 million a year player, and they traded a $4 million a year player. Like a championship team is not going to have a garbage $20 million contract to trade.
Right. The Cavs would have to believe last year before they won a title, there was some argument that maybe they should trade Love for Melo, and not that I really want Love, but the argument is that maybe that would be a way to move him. But now they've won a title with Love. I'm pretty sure they're going to probably go with Love again this year. I don't think they would do the Love for Melo trade.
No. I mean, I guess you could maybe argue that the Clippers think Blake is not going to re-sign or something. I don't know.
Clippers are the only team I can see the argument being made. And Clippers are a team that he should waive his clause for to play with his friend Chris Paul. I would do the trade.
I think because Lala's in the entertainment field, the Clippers are the only team Melo would waive his clause for.
But also, what do you get back from him? You get Blake. Is Blake a free agent this summer?
Actually, I'm not sure when he's up.
But you get Blake. You're probably not going to get your draft picks are going to be late first round draft picks.
The Clippers?
If you're getting draft picks from the Clippers, they're going to be late first round draft picks. And really, if you're getting Blake Griffin, the Clippers don't really have to give you a first round pick either.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you trade Melo for Blake straight up?
I do. I don't think the Clippers do.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rose is being paid $25 million. I guess I know I want him to be movable, but what do you trade him for?
Yeah. Again, the contract is so big. It's you're gonna have to.
It has to be a team on the verge where they think adding him gets them there.
But again, who's gonna have that much in salary that they're willing to trade away?
Are you just saying that all the teams that are good enough to be competing for the title this year, or good enough to be the top teams, don't have $20 million garbage on their teams? Because that's a weird concept to me.
I know, it's weird how that works, right?
Yeah. Spyros writes, do you think we can turn this around and make the playoffs? I know there's a lot of time left, but we need to start winning quick. Is it even worth it at this point? Think about it. Best case scenario, we make the 6th or 7th seed with a first round exit. What's the point in that? I say we should consider tanking the season, getting lots of draft picks, and build around Porzingis. Trade Melo, Rose, and Noah for picks. This year's draft is going to be crazy good, so I think it might be worth it. We are pretty good at drafting players. Phil has success in that, thankfully. So I think that is our best shot at contending in the future. Why keep trying to fix something that's already broken? Start again.
I mean, we say that every other episode. It's not going to happen, but...
Our annual start tanking episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. They really should rebuild.
They should. They won't.
Can you pull up the 2012 All-Star team. I just want to see who the Knicks are going to go after this offseason. Rob writes, do these past couple of winnable games show the importance of Porzingis to the team? And if so, do you think with him this losing streak would have been?
I think they might have pulled out one game, but even Porzingis is, I mean, he's going to be great, but he's still going through his trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 3 for 13 tonight. It wasn't a terribly good game.
They need to find a way to use him better. He's not always. I feel like an often like he does a lot of he does some ISO stuff, which drives me crazy. He's a good shooter, but shooters can be streaky. They need to get him more easy baskets. He's 7'3". They should need to use that, and he's agile. Use that.
Mm-hmm.
Logan writes, with Derrick Rose dunking at the rim again, does that show he's back to 100% confidence with his body?
He seems pretty confident, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Ralph writes, is Giannis really better than Porzingis? We find out tonight. I guess that question was asked before the Bucks game.
You know, I feel like the NBA is trying to manufacture a star there. Kind of like they did with Lillard a few years ago.
Lillard's really good, though, and Giannis is really good, though.
Yeah, but...
You don't think Giannis is really good? He is really good.
He's really good, but I don't know if he's like the next like amazing thing.
He's pretty darn good.
Like, I mean, like ESPN is like a week away from having the Giannis index. Like, they're really going crazy over him.
I mean, do you think ESPN's like, I don't know. We spent that whole season going off about Unibrow. Why is he still like? Why have they won a title yet? Like, we need like.
I feel like maybe not ESPN in per se, but like the NBA in general, they try and manufacture a star.
How do you manufacture a star? Give them star calls?
Give them star calls and say, I don't know, having a relatively unknown like Lillard start in every single event all-star weekend. Remember that? He was in like the skills challenge, the 3-point contest.
Okay. What's wrong with that? You're the NBA. You want to promote young stars. Who cares?
It's not promoting a young star. It's saying like, you're going to be the next star. We pick you.
Yeah. Like reality shows do that. What's the big deal if the NBA does that? Who cares? Why are you even upset about that? Of course the NBA does that.
Because that is what results in getting star calls. Now he's a star, and now he's getting all these calls. It's not based on as much performance as like who they want to be really good. Here's
a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is Milwaukee, if they're not good, fans don't go to the game. If Portland team's not good, they don't go to the game. We need stars in these cities. We need star calls. We need to make them better. The Knicks, whatever garbage they put on this roster, fans go to the games. They watch them on TV. The team earns tons of money no matter how goddamn bad they are, so we give them nothing. We go out of our way to benefit the other teams that play them because it benefits the NBA financially. It's not a bad conspiracy theory. The NBA will come out. It'll be a big investigative journalism thing led by Tim Donaghy on his new investigative NBA journalism thing, and it'll be they'll be like, Melo, we apologize. This is worse than Nuremberg. Every call was against you. The NBA's been plotting against you. I don't know why I said Nuremberg. That sounds horrible. The NBA's implying, Melo, you deserve like so many more calls. They really were hacking you. I want some David Stern deathbed confessions. Yeah. Anyway, Ben writes, it's like this is our new R. Kennedy assassination thing. Did the guy from the grassy knoll foul Carmelo? Ben writes, are the Knicks doing the mannequin challenge on every defense? Ralph writes, why are you Knicks fans with 28 teams to choose from? Well, first of all, there's 30. But that being said, well, probably because they were one of the first teams I was exposed to. They're also like, I always give the home team the benefit of the doubt. When I first started watching, it was the awesome 90s team with Oakley and Starks and company. Ewing. So, I like their style of play. I think it's you live there. For the most part, you live there, you root for them. That kind of like
Yeah, we were kind of born into it.
Yeah. I don't know. No, Ralph writes a good. I mean, that is like, why do you root for the Knicks? Like, why the hell do we root for the Knicks?
Yeah, I guess a better question is, why do you still root for the Knicks?
Yeah. Paul writes, no, I can't even argue for why I root for the Knicks. Or like, it's just so.
It's not even rational at this point.
I mean, it's
when you
making
think
me
about
upset.
it, it's completely irrational.
Paul writes, no idea if the trade would have happened, but is there any situation in which you would have wanted to trade Melo for Teague? Think it would be preferable even with Rose and Noah trades. Not that it would have gotten Rose and Teague. Keeping Lopez, gaining Teague, freeing ourselves of Melo. Oh, to dream.
Yeah, I'd be
sure. Why not? Gillum writes, 2 weeks ago I asked what was the difference from last season when we were 22 and 22, and then it went to dog poo. You said bench, and that you didn't believe this would happen again. After seeing some of the potential for destruction the Knicks have in them, still thinking the same?
No.
I have to say, it's been a trying last 2 weeks.
We haven't been positive, but we haven't been like ranting and screaming or anything.
We've been trying. We've been really trying.
Yeah, I just want everyone who's a new listener to know that this is an extreme struggle for us to stay rational right now.
Oh my God. All I wanted was a decent season. Like 43, 44 wins. I mean, it would have been like over the top success, but we would have won a bunch of games, and like there were some things to talk about for the future, some things to complain about because we always complain. But it wouldn't have been. It just feels like the team is. If we were like 20th in defense, you would have said the defense needs to get better, but we're not like there's some room. Like we're not complete garbage. Like I just wanted a team that made some sense. We were getting a little bit better. I don't know what's going on now.
I just wanted a team that makes sense.
Gillum writes, trade proposition. Melo to Boston. New York gets... I'm good. I don't have to read the rest of the question. New York gets Amir Johnson, 1 year, $12 million. Jay Jerebko, 1 year, $5 million. Marcus Smart, 2 years, $3.5 million this season, rookie contract. The Nets get 17 pick. I guess the first round pick this year. Option 2, New York gets Amir Johnson, Tyler Zeller, at 2 years, $8 million per season, and the Nets 17 pick. Would you do it? Do you think any chance the Melo would accept? Any chance Melo would do it?
No.
We get the Nets 17 pick.
I thought you said Celtics trade.
Yeah, I don't know. The Nets are involved. I don't know how he gets the Nets involved. Because the Nets have the Celtics. Celtics have the Nets 17 pick.
Oh, right.
Remember, because the Nets said, hey, you have 2 aging veterans that used to be good. We'll give you all the draft picks we have forever.
I don't think Melo does that. I hate Marcus Smart, so I don't want to do that.
You wouldn't want this year's Nets pick?
I do want this year's Nets pick. I really don't like Marcus Smart.
Why? He plays defense.
He is the floppingest player I think I've ever seen.
Maybe we need flopping. We've been anti-flopping all this time. Maybe the Knicks need to learn how to flop. We need to learn how to compete in this goddamn NBA.
That guy is just shameful.
What Melo? The argument of going for Melo is that he has a shot of actually competing. Then he goes to Boston. They're one of the best teams in the East. He has a shot of like really competing for a title.
That is true.
So Melo, if he's going to waive it, besides the La La Land LA thing, he would probably consider it to go to a team that has a shot of actually competing.
I don't think Lala lets him go anywhere except New York and LA.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll do the trade. I like the first one. The second one involves Amir Johnson and Tyler Zeller. I think I like the Marcus Smart one better.
Yeah, I don't like Marcus Smart. I don't want him anywhere near the Knicks.
Paul writes, can't we pick up anyone else besides Plumlee and Endor? Aren't we good on big men without them? I'd much rather have Randall even give Takoto minutes or any other damn player. Thoughts on Seth Curry?
I'm pretty pissed that we didn't get Randall. If Randall starts going off on Philly, how mad are you going to be?
I mean, It's the thing is I can't get. I'm like already like so frustrated and just so angry with his team. I don't know if I can get angrier.
There's always room for angrier.
Paul writes, last question. I need to end the show. I actually feel like crap. Sure, guys like Kuz. Sure, guys like Kuz have more developing to do. But at what point do we say this is the team we have and we're probably not getting better?
I still think we'll get better just because of chemistry, but this is the team we have, I think.
When you say chemistry, do you think like you're going to go into a science lab and actually build a new team? Like you're going to grow, like you're going to like clone Jordan? I know what you actually meant, but like maybe we could talk about the science end of things.
I mean, maybe we do need that.
We need some magic. I don't know. By the way, Kuz is like 26 or 27 years old, so I don't know how much better he actually gets.
No, but I mean, for a minimum wage guy, he's fine.
He's fine. Well, here's the thing also is, when do you just say, hey, we're playing guys based on on the future and forgetting guys that are a little bit older? Like, when do you say, I'm going to make sure I make a conscious effort to get Hernan Gomez minutes. I'm going to make a conscious effort to get Ron Baker minutes. I'm going to get a conscious effort to make Kuz minutes. And I'm going to sacrifice minutes for Noah. I'm going to sacrifice minutes for Derrick Rose. Guys who are just not going to be here.
2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Like at some point, you have to you got to try something different, which is like the Ron Baker starting, Derrick Rose at the bench. You got to try something drastically different, or you got to just go towards we're going back to rebuild mode. It doesn't matter who's on the roster, and you could say, hey, it's not fair to Melo to rebuild while he's here, but you can also say, hey, Melo, it's not fair to us. You don't play defense, so we're even.
Right, exactly.
And you want to. It's really unfair. Waive your no trade clause, but we're going to rebuild while you're here until you leave.
Yep.
Anyone's going to hate us because I guarantee tomorrow night, whenever the Knicks play again, then Melo will go off for 40, and everyone will say, call us haters, and that Melo is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't blame Melo for the fact the team sucks. He's not LeBron James. He should be expected to be LeBron James. It's that Phil should never have expected Melo to be LeBron James. He should have said, Melo, we understand what you are. We understand we can't build with free agency if you're the lead guy. We need to build through the draft and let you go.
Yeah, seems reasonable to me.
Or something. I don't know. Goddamn. No. What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that honeymoon's kind of over with this team.
You can see, at what point is Phil's job on the line?
I think he gets an entire season pass because of Porzingis.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I mean, if by the end of the season Noah doesn't look any better, then I think you have to really start questioning Phil's judgment.
I mean, you also the Knicks don't win 40 games this year. They don't make the playoffs. What are they doing?
Well, this week we have at Philly versus Chicago, at Toronto. Or before next episode. So 2 of those are very winnable.
Okay. So next week, happy episode.
Although Philly just got their 10th win and Embiid started talking about playoffs.
Oh. Does Embiid know that it's not top 16? He started talking about the playoffs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Although in their last 10 games, they've won twice as many games as the Knicks.
How many of the Knicks won in the last 10 games?
Dos.
Whoa. Trust the process.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. At NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. And check out all the other podcasts on the Almighty Ballers Network. That is almightyballer.com.
Not bigballs.com. Different website.
Chris is going to love you for doing that. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone.
Napa know-how.
A Napa guy knows more isn't always better, unless we're talking about full-size vans. These beasts do more than get you from A to B. They have so much space a man can live in it. With shag carpeting, waterbed, and a sweet lava lamp, these mobile abodes have all the comforts of home. With quality parts and plenty of Napa know-how, you can keep the original tiny house running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
I've switched a lot of things in my life, but it's never worked out. I switched to being a vegetarian, but ate more bacon than ever. Every time I switch lines at the grocery store, I never pick the fast one. But one thing that totally worked out is I switched to Metro PCS and got a free Samsung Galaxy.
Make the right switch too. Move to Metro PCS and get a free Samsung Galaxy J7 with a huge 5.5-inch screen. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Plus sales tax. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details, terms, and conditions.